An international break weekend that I've actually enjoyed. Who would have thought it, lads? Comment your last word for the game you were at this weekend. Do it. Hit the like button on this video, as always, and let's get into another episode of The Last Word. Until Thursday night, I thought I was going to be in Stenhousemuir this weekend, soaking up the atmosphere as Stenhousemuir took on Partick Thistle at Ochil View. As it turned out, my dad surprised me with a trip to Blackpool to go see them play AFC Wimbledon, and I have to say, I'm really glad he did that. It was a cracking day, despite the early rise out of bed that I had to have on that day, but the footballing show made it all worthwhile. The Blackpool fans, Eddie Hearn, said it best.
You are different gravy.
Simply a great birthday present. So, to Blackpool and my dad, last word, thank you. Notice the new piece of Blackpool memorabilia up in the setup as well. Love it. Back up the road now, and it's straight into the national team as they took on Cyprus. Albeit, they were actually playing in Cyprus in this game, so it's not necessarily back up the road. But anyway, I digress. Scotland defeated Cyprus 2-1 to keep the spirits relatively high going into those vital playoff games next year. Ryan Christie and John McGinn got on the score sheet, with John McGinn getting his 5th goal in the Euro 2020 qualifiers. That's pretty good going. Last word, super. John McGinn. Well, this was a bit of a weird one. Was it a 3-2 game? Probably not, but that was indeed the final score. Raith go through to the semi-final of the Tunnets Canmore Wafer Challenge Cup, but it wasn't without a few questions asked from Elgin, and despite Raith dominating the game for probably about 90% of it, when Elgin scored their goals, they were scored at that time where it did ask a few questions. Regardless, Raith were the better team and probably deserved to go through to the semi-final on the night. Last word, deserved. You dirty little fraudster, you. What will you do next? Oh wait, you're not even going to get a chance to do so. It obviously brings me no pain in saying this, Ray. You deserved it since day one. You've been a fraud since that day, and even a late equaliser yesterday couldn't save your skin. Dumbarton won, Falkirk won. I said it in the last week's episode of The Last Word that I didn't think Falkirk were going to win this one. The next game is Dumbarton away, and I just simply don't fancy that we win it. I don't. And well, they didn't. And now, your man Ray is gone. And the Fraud of the Year award goes to... It's got to be in it. Last word. Bye. Oh, and also, it's not the easiest fixture to be going into as well. Dumbarton away, I just don't see it being that great a day for Falkirk. I don't see them losing just because they haven't conceded that many goals and they don't lose that many games. I'm going to sit on the fence, say a draw. I'm a clever boy. And with that Falkirk draw coming through, it gave Airdrieonians the chance to jump even further ahead of Falkirk for the second week in a row. After defeating them last weekend and jumping ahead of them in the league, they had the chance again this weekend, and they took that and more. A 2-0 away win at Stranraer, which saw them go top, yes, top of Scottish League One. I wonder how those Airdrieonians fans feel that just a month ago were slagging off their manager Ian Murray. Pretty silly, I imagine. Raith and East Fife do indeed have games in hand over Airdrieonians, but for now, last word, top of the tree. That decent home record comes back once again for Morton as they record a 1-0 win against impressive so far this season Arbroath. Dick Campbell himself admitted that Morton were the better team and deserved to win the game, so fair dues to them this time. They have got a decent win on the board, and especially after 3 straight defeats in the league, that is a good wee win for them. They need to sort out that away form if they're going to do anything this season, but I just simply am never convinced by them, so they've done the job this time round, but last word, convince me, lads. Goals at Tannadice, a comfortable win, and that was all done without Lawrence Shankland. Bobag FC member himself, Nicky Clark, has been proven a very good asset for Dundee United after that injury that he had, and he's scoring the goals and given absolutely no reason to be able to drop him out of the team anytime soon. Oh no, Nicky Clark and all that, but Dundee United are 9 points clear now, and even though Ayr have a game in hand, it is a very good place to be at this point. Last word, comfortable. A strange game up at Cove this one, where a 3-0 win was sealed with all 3 goals coming in the last 12 minutes in a game where Cove had 33 shots, 16 on target, and on top of all of that, 68% possession. So I think it's fair to say that Cove did indeed dominate this one. A win keeps Cove 5 points ahead of Edinburgh City. Last word, always winning. Now this was a game. Play along with me. 1-0 Albion Rovers. Edinburgh City score. 1-1. 2-1 Albion Rovers. Edinburgh City equalise again. 2-2. Then Edinburgh City get given a 93rd minute penalty. Blair Henderson steps up. 3-2 Edinburgh City. Scenes. Limbs. That's the type of football game that we all love to watch. To and fro in the scoreline for the 90 minutes, and then a late winning goal. Last word, Eddie Hearn.
A different gravy.
The Beanos needed that win. I didn't expect them to get it, but they did indeed get it. That's them now on 13 points in League 2, and a good distance between them and bottom spot, which they occupied for a lot of the early part of the season, so I'm sure they'll just be glad that they're 6 points clear of that spot, because I really can't imagine that that's a fun place to be. Last word, cushion. The Tunnets Carnmore Wafer Challenge Cup quarter-final tie between Rangers, Colts and Wrexham is probably everything that's wrong with this tournament in the fans' eyes. But hey-ho, it's here to stay, so we pretty much just need to live with it. Every cloud though, the Scottish have defeated the English. Wait, but they're Welsh. Oh, wait, they play in the English League. Oh. This competition really is a shambles, eh? Last word, get in the bin. And finally, the game I was going to be at this weekend between Stenhousemuir and Partick Thistle. I bet you when Stenhousemuir equalised to make it 1-1, Partick Thistle fans feared the worst. But they ended up getting the job done and sent themselves through to a cup semi-final. Regardless of what competition it is, I'm sure they were dancing in the streets of Partick when they realised they were through to the semi-final of the Tunnets Carnmore Wafer Challenge Cup. They've put themselves in the hat for that semi-final tie with Rangers Colts, Raith Rovers or Inverness. Last word, what a feeling. That's it for this video guys, cheers for watching. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like, comment down below your last word for the game you were at this weekend and subscribe for more of this type of content. And until the next video, I'll see you then. Cheers guys.